So what I want to do is just talk a little bit about myself and my journey with Reiki, and especially this flavor of Reiki, so that you can all acclimate to my energy and get a little debrief on who I am and what I'm all about. So hi everybody, my name is Steven. I started doing Reiki in 2019, and at the time I was working in an acupuncture clinic. I was working the front desk at the acupuncture clinic. My fiance at the time was an acupuncturist. We were renting space out of an already established clinic, and I was support staff. I was running the front desk, checking people in and out, running insurance, being the bright smiley face that I am. And I was also kind of like, I want my own thing here. And it was a place of crystals and astrology and herbal medicine and acupuncture, and there was Reiki was kind of on the outskirts of my awareness, but I just knew it as some sort of like energy healing thing that you do with your hands. The owner of the clinic was like, you should learn Reiki, you would be really good at it. And I was like, okay, cool, sweet, you think I'd be good at something? Amazing, I'll do that. And so I signed up for Reiki Level 1, and my fiance went to acupuncture school with Erin Ryan. Erin Ryan became my Reiki master. She taught me Usui Reiki Level 1, and then Holy Fire Level 2 and Reiki Master Teacher. I quickly dove into Erin's world deeply. At the time, I was very spiritually curious. I was somebody who had, this understanding of like, I want there to be something more. Like I'm all about this metaphysical world. It's very curious to me. It looks exciting. It is a world that I want to go deeper into. And I was also living out very unhealthy and toxic patterns. I was in a relationship that was pretty toxic, and I was also drinking a lot, and I was also still hooked on nicotine. And when I was seeing Reiki clients, like it was really exciting and cool, and like all this cool stuff was happening, and I was getting really good feedback. And then after a 60-minute session, I was like going to the laundry room and like hitting my vape and like coming back down. So there was a lot of like duality playing out in terms of like leaning into a more spiritual understanding of the world and leaning into energy work, and also still having a lot of like shit to work on and baggage to address. And I then entered into, my mentor called it higher level energetic mentorship. So it was like healing, it was like trauma work, it was therapy, but through the lens of spirituality and energy work. And this was with Erin, my Reiki master. This was the container that really helped me finally start like doing the inner work. I'm somebody who has a long history of addiction, a long history of bipolar, depression, self-harm, all of that. I've spent a lot of time in inpatient hospitalizations. I have just had a lot of shit, as so many of us have. And the Western medical system was something that kept me alive, which was great, but it never really like did actual like healing. It was just like keeping me alive and helping me cope and keeping me like not dead, which is great. But this container that I was working with my mentor was finally something that gave me a blueprint and a map and a compass of how to do the work, how to start vacating my system of all of the trauma and the trapped stress cycles that was causing my nervous system to overflow and causing my nervous system so much dysregulation. And so I like owe so much to Erin. She's done so much for me. And I did the work, and flash forward, I left my marriage, I stopped drinking, I got off of nicotine. I finally reached this place where I'm now like more in creation mode versus just like catch up and don't die mode. And this is when life got really exciting. And at this point, Erin had started talking about dragons on Facebook and dragons in her marketing. And I was like, what the hell? Like, what the hell? Seems made up. This seems like I was with you, but you've lost me. And there was a period where I blocked her at one point, and my own projections and judgments and all that stuff got in the way of like receiving this medicine sooner. Then she birthed this modality of Reiki, Element Dragon Fire Reiki. And at this point I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't know about that. And I had received so much from her. Her medicine had been so potent and so powerful and so transformational for me that after I unblocked her, I was still paying attention. I was still looking around. I was still like, okay, maybe there's something here. And the feedback that everybody was sharing was so powerful and so profound. And it led me to being like, you know what, fuck it, fine. I'm gonna sign up for the Water Dragon level of this class in December of 2023. This was big for me. It was huge for me. And reflecting on I've been deepening into this medicine, reflecting on my journey with this medicine leading up to teaching this class. This is my very first time teaching this class, so thank you so much for being here. And I've been reflecting on my journey with this medicine. The Water Dragon level that I took in December, it's taught in the water season, which is winter in Chinese medicine. I took it in December of 2023. I was living in Wisconsin, living on my own, fresh out of a marriage, figuring out what the hell am I gonna do with my life. I started working in the world of pleasure. I started doing like naked pleasure Reiki sessions. I was discovering the potency of pleasure and using that consciously to heal shame and trauma in our systems. And I had found a retreat in Palm Springs that was called Sex Shaman Sacred Prostitute. And at this retreat, it was in California. It was in Palm Springs, California. And so I booked a flight. I got an Airbnb. I was in Palm Springs for 9 days. It was 2 weekend workshops, each a weekend apart. So there was one weekend, 5 days in between, and then a second weekend. This class was the Monday. It was during that trip. I was at my Airbnb, I was taking the class, and I still showed up on Zoom with 1 foot out the door. I was like, what is this? Like, I'm here, but I'm like, whatever. Hopefully, like, I wanted the medicine, but I was also like half like skeptic, half like maybe this is just all made up and this will prove it to me and I'll prove the point in my mind that they're just trying to like make more money and make shit up and like whatever. I went through the activations and the activations that we're gonna do today, and I did Reiki on myself. And I had never felt my nervous system downregulate so powerfully from just self Reiki. It was this huge, like, oh. And I was like, okay, cool, I'm sold, I'm hooked, which is amazing. Now, this class is all about dragon medicine. It's about traditional Chinese medicine, the elements and the meridian system of Chinese medicine, and then Reiki. Now, dragon medicine has been a flavor of energy that I have been deepening into my relationship with. And what I'm coming home to is there's a lot to it, and we'll get into it a lot. But for me, it's very much about creation energy. It's very much about rearranging reality kind of creation energy. And this class, the December class that I took in 2023, the Water Dragon, on top of the Reiki that I channeled to myself and the nervous system downregulation that it provided for me, I recognized that that class and that trip timed up with the biggest timeline shift of my life. So I was living in Wisconsin, fresh out of the marriage, like eager for more, but like how the hell am I gonna get out of Wisconsin? I was selling real estate and I had like a 3-year plan to try and get out of there, but I had no clear path. I went to this retreat, I was staying at the Airbnb, I took the Water Dragon class. That week, I was playing around at the Airbnb pool in the evening. And I was like, let me do some backflips in the pool. I learned to do a backflip into the lake that I was living on, and I was like, let me do a backflip into the pool. What else am I gonna do? So I set up my camera, I'm filming myself, I do a backflip, and it was like kind of crooked, so I was like, let me do it again. I do a second backflip, and I hit my head on the concrete ledge of the pool, and it's blood everywhere. And I was mortified. I was like, holy fuck, is this Steven's in the hospital for a couple months? Or is like, what the hell is going on? Didn't have health insurance at the time, traveling by myself in California alone, don't know anybody. My family is in a different time zone, 4 hours away, well, a country away. And I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do? At the first workshop that I went to, it was hosted at these gentlemen's house. It was hosted at their house. Their big Palm Springs mansion was used as the space for the facilitator to come in and run the workshop. I had taken Rich's contact card. I had taken his card, and he's a talker. He's like all these things, and I call him. It's the only person I know. I'm like, Rich, hi. And he's like, who is this? I'm like, it's Steven. Steven who? Why are you calling me at 8 p.m. on a Monday? I was like, Steven from the workshop. Oh, hey, what the fuck? What's up? And I'm like, I need some help. I cracked my head open. I need to go to the hospital. Where do I go? What's a cash place? Like, can you help me? And he's like, stay right there. I'm coming to get you. 10 minutes later, he pulls up in his Mercedes, picks me up, speeds me, like fucking speeds me to the ER, and we sit and we wait, and it's a cash-only place. There's a long line. I'm like bleeding out the wazoo. We're like waiting for the doctors to come in. He's like offering to pay. He's got his credit card out the whole time. He's like, you poor thing, you poor thing, you poor thing. And I'm like, don't worry about it. I'm fine. I just need to get some staples. Be whatever. 15 staples later, I am concussed, I'm bleeding, I've got bandages on my head, and they're like, you can't stay. You can't stay by yourself. Like, you can't go to sleep tonight. You need to stay with somebody. And so Rich takes me in, puts me up in one of their 4 guest bedrooms, and they just take me in. They just take me in. Flash forward to the rest of that week. They had family over, they were going to a Stevie Nicks concert, they fed me, they went grocery shopping for me, they did my laundry, they like took care of me in a way that I had never been taken care of before. Now, this is a retired gay Palm Springs couple, and it's really boiling it down. There's so much more than that. But the stereotype of like retired people in Palm Springs is they have like a little dog. They have like a little Pomeranian or a little Chihuahua, and that dog runs their entire life. And they have a little dog named Kirby. Kirby's a little red Chihuahua, and Kirby is the man of the household. Everybody who's there is just supporting his world. And so they love animals. They are people who, the animals run their whole life. And so the running joke of the story is, I was the stray cat that got hit by a car that they took in and never left. But flash forward to, they took me in, and I'm like, oh my God, these are like the most nourishing people I've ever met. Like, I've never felt so taken care of. And the trip ends, I go back to Wisconsin, they're like, well, cool, we're looking forward to when you visit again. And so I take that opportunity, a couple months later, I fly down, I stay with them some more, I explore more of Palm Springs, and I get thinking like, I could move here. Maybe I could move here. And I had started doing more structured pleasure work. I started making money that way, and that kind of work travels really well. And I visited with them. Flash forward to the second visit I was there with them. They were like, hey, we go up to San Francisco for 6 months for the summer. We prefer somebody to be here while we're gone. Do you want to move into our house? Do you want to live here? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. Absolutely, I want to fucking live here. And so 2 months later, I pack up my car, I cancel my lease, I leave Wisconsin, and I move to Palm Springs. And what I want to share about all of this is reflecting on my journey with deepening into dragon medicine, and especially this lineage of Reiki, is the Water Dragon class, backflip into a pool of water, was the portal that opened up this next level of like my life. And that move was like everything just spiraled into the expansion that I have today from that. And so dragons, creation energy, the manifestations, the desires that you have, the changes that you want to make in your personal life and your professional life, like they have the capacity, if you work with them on like a diligent, consistent, like respecting free will. So you got to call on them. You got to like ask for the help to receive it. They have the capacity to help shift and rearrange reality in ways that I haven't seen before. So that is my journey with 5 Element Dragon Fire Reiki. There are 5 elemental levels. We are in the Earth Dragon class today. The 5 elemental levels can be taken in any order. I did water, and then I skipped the spring. And then I did fire, I did earth, I did metal, and then I came back around to the spring, which is the wood element, and then I went on to teacher level. So you have the capacity to start here at Earth Dragon and do them all in order, or not. Life comes up, and maybe this won't be something you want to continue with, and that's perfectly fine as well. But I just want to preface that the 5 elemental levels can be taken in any order, and each of them carry their own flavor of uniqueness. And I think about it too, because the water element is fear and isolation energy. Those are the emotions that correspond with the water element. I was so fucking lonely in Wisconsin. And that was what catalyzed me into family, into like gay family that I had never had before. I call them my gay dads. I still go see them all the time. I'm gonna go stay with them in San Francisco next month. It's like, it's really beautiful to see like all of the ways in which this medicine can affect our lives. And so we're gonna get into all of it today.